So welcome again, it is time to do another gameplay with commentary video, and this time I'm going to take a look at a Super Nintendo game, but not behind my real hardware, but I'm going to try emulation for a change, simply for practical reasons. Setting up the GoPro, it's always a bit cumbersome with finding the right camera angle and then capturing the footage with the AVmedia and then importing it onto the computer and also recording the sound separately. It's kind of cumbersome, so I thought, hey, why don't I try recording it from an emulator with OBS and see how that goes. It works well for DOS games, so why not try that for console games? So, the game I'm going to take a look at is this game, and this one is called X-Kaliber 2097. And it is a game with very cool music from a techno group called Psychosonic. This game is made by Activision in 1994. And it's about New York in the 21st century, although it's kind of the late 21st century. And it says, prepare yourself for a futuristic battle with terrifying, shape-changing mutants in 21st century New York. Scorching swordplay, thrilling two-player head-to-head action, and a pumping soundtrack from a chart-topping techno band Psychosonic. And Psychosonic are also here on the screenshot. So this is like the back of the box. Psychosonic is like here. And this is the cartridge for the game. So yeah, I have a real physical copy of it, but I just want to emulate it for practical reasons, simply because I kind of want to change my workflow a little bit. So let's dive into the game. I'm playing this without the background music enabled, because, well, I attempted to upload this earlier, and during the upload it reported a problem with a content match, so I decided to do this playthrough without any background music. So yeah, this is basically a re-edit sort of, but yeah, this game is about some group, and they kind of rule the city, and then there's some guy named Alex that has to save the day basically with his magic sword. Well, it's not really a magic sword, but it's really sharp. A warlord named Raptor rules the city. He runs New York for a global mob and runs it without mercy. Raptor has unleashed an army of ruthless mutating morphs upon the city to enforce order. Only two people stand in Raptor's way, a man named Slash and a woman named Alex. Slash wields the magic sword, X-Kaliber. Better than Raptor's own blade, it can rip through steel like rancid butter. There we have Slash. Slash is the only man who scares Raptor, and Raptor hates him for it. Raptor, this is Slash, one of the Holland's last special agents in the Special Forces. We can't buy him off. His sword, X-Kaliber, is strong like yours. As long as he's free, you'll never rule this city. Well, and that is a lovely lady, which is called Alex. And of course she cannot be bribed. Slash and Alex are the only agents we don't own. They dare to rebel against your authority, Raptor. What should we do? Kane, anything we can't buy we take. Bring me Alex, then Slash will come to us. And at last we'll have X-Kaliber. Brilliant, sir. I've met this Slash before. I'd be thrilling to fight him. I'm so bored with a spineless little man like you. Yes, sir, but unfortunately Slash will never get this far. Of course not. You'll see to it. So the intro is actually quite long. Well, we have some options. Let's make this game easier. My initial attempt at playing this game, when it had the background music in it, was not particularly good. I really struggled with the first boss, and that's kind of one of the game's main problems. Yeah, it has a really problematic boss fight in the first stage, which is just a bit unfortunate. So, this is what the game is like. We can jump and we can slash. The game is very generic. Yeah, it's just a generic platformer, kind of set in a sort of post-apocalyptic New York setting. Normally you'd hear very good background music, but yeah, I just had to disable it. What you could do is just look up the original soundtrack somewhere on YouTube, because it is actually pretty good. But that's one of the only few things about this game that really stand out. Other than that, it's just pretty generic. Also, every level has a timer. So playing it without the music is kind of like experiencing how you would play a DOS game if you can't get the sound blaster to work. Yeah, these things are pretty annoying here. They're like camera guns. And there's also a lot of, acid drops on the ceiling. Although normally with the background music you don't really notice the sound effects that much. Now you can actually hear the sort of acid drops. And there we have a scientist, which appears to be some sort of zombie. So he just, he doesn't actually die, but he mutates into a zombie. And his blood is made of acid, because when you defeat him he just kind of, turns into a pool of acid and creates a hole in the floor. Like so. This game was originally also released in Japan under a different name and supposedly also with different background music. So here we have a moving platform. And we need to jump on these. Oh, it doesn't quite work, but I believe there was some sort of bonus item. I must say I quite like the reflection in the water of the skyscrapers. Now we're going to meet the boss, who is called Tattoo, and yeah, he's difficult. So I don't know if I can actually beat him, because his attack pattern is very annoying. There is a particular way of dealing with him, and I believe that was the correct approach there. When he turns his back, then you can sort of attack him, because otherwise he'll just block it. That's why this boss fight can actually take a long time. Well, come on, move it. Just move it. Turn your back, then I can attack you. Slash, 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 slash. Oh, my health is not great. Yeah, this game was actually one of the first few games where a recording artist actually made music for it. And in the mid-90s that was kind of, a rarity. That seemed to have worked. Yeah, his health is pretty strong. And this is just one of the main problems with this game. This tedious boss fight and the otherwise just sort of generic gameplay that it just doesn't have a lot going for it. Not that the controls are bad or anything, they're perfectly fine and the graphics are alright. But yeah, the gameplay itself is just a bit unimaginative and repetitive. They could have done more with this. And to add insult to injury, there is also just a timer in the levels. Oh yeah, now he's going to use his rose thorn. Also, you can actually hit him if you get close to him. Although it is quite risky. Hey, that works quite well. If he can at least stop slashing. You see, it is quite a risky move. Because his health bar is still a lot bigger than mine. This is just a matter of rinse and repeat. Yeah, you're still hearing some of the instruments through the audio. Because they still use channel 1 of the 8 channels of the SPC sound chip. Oops, yeah, I don't think I'm gonna win this boss fight. Oops. Yeah, this boss fight totally sucks. Although last time I did actually manage to beat it. Although there is a certain attack strategy that you can use here, and you can just wait until he turns his back, or you can just get really close to him and slash him like so. Yeah, it took me a while to figure this out, and that's why this can get monotonous. And I think this boss fight is one of the game's main flaws. It's just so, yeah, kind of boring. I mean, he's only just slashing. It's not particularly interesting. This can get frustrating if you don't know how to attack him. But if you figured out the pattern, it becomes ridiculously easy. Just wait until he stops slashing. I mean, how dumb is the AI? It's just incredibly dumb. Come on, don't waste my time. Dang. That stupid boss is just kind of standing there slashing. Yeah, now you're hearing some of the sound effects, well, from the music, because they're still used by channel 1, which is the effects channel. You're hearing these tacky Super Nintendo sounds. So, the first boss is almost dead. Come on, don't waste my time. Come on. This is so stupid. Slash, 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 slash. The attack pattern, is this boss glitching out or what? So, he's beaten. Level clear. So, next stage. Slash, where is Raptor? No one knows except this Lieutenant Kane. He's at one of the construction sites. Don't cut yourself, Tattoo. Stage 2. Well, this is change of scenery, although the enemies here are annoying. Yeah, I think there's better games on the Super Nintendo. Games like Ninja Warriors again. I think is a lot better. Not that this game is bad, but it just it could have been more interesting. Sadly, the only really standout feature, which is the music, I had to disable. Now it almost becomes an MS-DOS experience with no working sound blaster. Of course, this thing is too high that I can't get it. Well, at least the sound effects are alright. Yeah, you can just kind of see how empty the stages are. There's really not a lot going on here. Well, a coke can is always useful. Now we have to wait for this thing and then jump over it. Wait for it. Yeah, and that thing is just too high. I can't get to it. I don't know how you do that, but it's simply too high. I must say that the main character looks kind of cool, even though he looks a bit robotic. I mean, look at his legs. It's almost like he doesn't have any real legs, but that they are more like sort of an exoskeleton. So that was a hamburger. Other part of the stage. Now you've got enemies coming out of these doors. And we can pretty much skip most of them. It's all just kind of predictable. Oh, hey, maybe there's something. Yeah, a Coke can. I don't think I ever got much further than the third stage of the game. Because this game's design is just, yeah, a bit flawed. There is a particular jump a bit later in this stage that you can easily just fall to your doom. Oh yeah, these are annoying. These ninjas. This is just a very well, basic, generic hack and slash platform-esque game. Interestingly, these two enemies share each other's health bar. Which is really weird, because they're just two entities, even though the game logic thinks it's just one entity. So now we have to be mindful of where we jump. And the problem is about, yeah, I think about here, where there is a lift that we have to jump into. And this is, I think, going to... No, it's not going to explode. Yeah, this is a problematic part. How do we do this? Oh, hey, it worked. Last time I died here and it was game over. Chainsaw, halt, you worthless sack of flesh. Your journey ends here. How do you figure? Because I'm going to shred you. No one in this city has manners. Come here, I'll teach you a few. Well, that's the second stage boss. Let's find out if it's just as difficult as the first one. Oh dear. He's gonna shoot. Oh, he's actually just a cyborg. And he can apparently block your attacks. Dang, how do we do this? Okay, that doesn't quite work. Maybe we have to attack him from the back, I don't know. Okay, the first bit was straightforward, but I wonder if I can just hit his head. Okay, that doesn't work. This is a stupid boss fight, just like all the other boss fights. I don't think I ever got any further here. Yeah, let's just call it quits. So there you have it, that was X-Kaliber 2097. A quite repetitive but enjoyable game from Activision, released in 1994 for the Super Nintendo. I personally enjoyed it, even though, I haven't actually played it in years. Gameplay is quite basic, but what is there is solid, despite it being somewhat repetitive. I guess if you like this sort of game, you should check it out. I don't know if it is particularly expensive or not. I got my copy in 2001 from a local game shop, and at the time it was relatively cheap, but of course in 2001 Super Nintendo games were relatively cheap in general. Nowadays it's a different story, so this game is not really on people's radar. If you find it on a convention, it might still actually be cheap, because, well, yeah, not many people have heard of this game, not many people talk about this game. Perhaps it could be cheap. Nevertheless, I hope you enjoyed it, and thanks for watching. Bye bye.